Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. My bad, y'all. Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is General Hospital's edition. Today is Thursday, September the 29th, 2022. All right, guys, let's get right into this. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it an 8. Y'all tell me what you think in the comments. All right, so we start off with Mac and Felicia, and she's just like, Mac, please come home. And he's like, no, he wants to speak to Diane because they have a serial killer on the attacker killer. And so they're like, we need to find out who this is. And, they want to try to stop this. So she says, well, let's go to Maxie's just to get you a little break and everything. And he was like, all right, let's go. I'm not going to hold y'all long. I'm going to try not to. So then at Maxie's, we see Cody and Austin are there, and Austin just says, because Cody is keeps saying like, I don't know, Mac thinks I'm a hook, the hook killer, the serial killer, and everything. And she said he was just doing his job. He was investigating, and you would be lucky to get into this family. What's wrong? Like she said, you can't do better than having Mac as a dad. And honestly, Mac is a good guy, and she said, what does it matter if he's in law enforcement? And Austin just said that, it matters a lot. He said, I come from a family, and things like that were took precedent. And she says, I thought you were talking about are you talking about the Quartermains? I thought everything was all good. But, really he's thinking about whatever family this is that he's in with Mason, and how they're into illegal things and he has to be a part of it. That's the family he's actually thinking about, but Maxie doesn't know that. But anyways, he tells Cody, I understand your reservations and I get it or whatever. So you have an ally in me. And so anyways, Austin gets a text from Mason, so he has to leave. And he and Maxie talk, and she's just like, can we meet up later and everything? And he says, after he gets off work, or whatever it is he has to do, they'll talk. So then we see that as Austin is leaving, Felicia and Mac come. So when they come, we see that Cody is like, okay, I'm about to leave. And they're like, no, don't leave. We want you, we want you here. We want you and Mac to talk. And he was like, he didn't really want to talk to Mac because he feels like Mac was accused him of being a killer and everything. And Cody is into some shady business as well. That's what I feel like the real reason he doesn't really want to know if Mac's his dad and want to get involved with Mac, because he's into shady business and he knows that could be discovered. But Felicia and Maxie both tell him, if Mac is your dad, you lucked out if he's your father. So don't look at this as a bad thing. Look at it as a good thing. You're lucky to have him. And she's like, and y'all need to just talk. And so Mac tells Cody that he was afraid to know if Cody was his son, but now he's not. But it looks like Cody is afraid. And he says, and I know you're hiding something. And he was like, oh, really? You still think I'm a killer? He said, no, but you're a gambler, right? And Cody was like, yeah, I play. And he says, well, what are you playing for now? And I said, keep that direction, Mac. Find out about Cody, because there's something going on. And he and Austin have some kind of connection. I'm sure we'll find out. Or at least they made it seem like that yesterday, but maybe they don't. But who knows? Who knows what's going on there? But I feel like they're moving this storyline with Cody and finding out his background. They're kind of moving it slow. They're moving the Austin thing slow. But I do like that Maxie, Felicia, and Mac are just willing to like open up to Cody. If you are family, then you're going to be a part of the tribe, and it's up to him to make the decision. And he says yes, he wants to take, I guess, the DNA test and everything to find out if Max is his father. So then we see Austin goes to the hospital, and Mason is there. And he said, Austin, it does whatever family he's a part of, he does not want to be a part of it anymore. And so he tells him, this is the last thing I'm going to do. And Mason said, oh, I'm glad you think it works like that, but it doesn't. And so he tells Amy, I'm going to take this next patient and everything. And she said, okay. So he goes to the back, and the patient is like, their arm is bothering them. And Mason comes in, and I said, does Mason know the guy? and he tells him you won't feel a thing because he has a syringe full of something. I'm guessing it's some kind of drug. He says, "Don't worry, you won't feel a thing," to the patient because his arm was messed up. And I don't know what's happening, y'all. I honestly, I'm not that invested in this to even care enough to know what's happening unless they start moving this faster and giving us more background. I've lost interest. It's been going on too long at this point. Then we see Spinelli and Sam, and Spinelli and Sam are talking, and so he lets her again. He let her know that he was did society setups, and so he starts telling her about his algorithm, and she says, "Honestly, that sounds amazing." And he said it would be. He said, "But I needed a wider audience." She was like, "Okay." He said, "So I branched out and learned people's information." And she said, "Wait, are you telling me that you hacked into the two people?" He was like, "Yeah, into the world." So Spinelli is like, Spinelli needs to shut this setup down. He needs to shut this business down and start again. And she said, "Spinelli, you are in trouble. You're going to go to prison for this." He was like, "I know." And she was like, "Just shut it down." But he doesn't want to because it's successful and everything. And so he was like, "Zelda is a front. She was never really real or anything." And he was like, "Zelda's not even her real name." And Sam was like, "Focus." And so he's like, "Oh, I know." And so she said, "But how did it match Cody and Britt? If you could do all of that, how did it match those two? Because they're an unlikely pair." And so he finally tells Sam, "Cody blackmailed me into doing this. He cohorts me into doing it. And I know that's Dante's friend and y'all like him, but he wanted to be matched with Britt. And I don't think it was just for romance. It's something deeper than that." And that's it with them, y'all. So then we see Jordan and Portia. Portia's still up in his office throwing a fit with Jordan, not answering the question. She answered it without answering it today, though. She pretty much said yes. Yes, I'm not saying yes, but if Curtis was Trina's dad, Taggart loves Trina. Marcus loves Trina. He That was what got him through, everything that we went through when he was in dark places. Having Trina is what got him through. Trina loves Taggart. She loves her dad. I'm not gonna blow up their world, and everything. And Portia's like, excuse me, Jordan's just like, "Listen, I understand how you feel. But you could use me as an example of what happens when you don't tell Curtis the truth." And Portia is pretty much like, "I'm sorry that you can't be with Curtis and that he's chosen me now, but you need to stay out of my business." And I said, "Oh, well, okay then, Portia, with your lying self." Like, it's not Jordan's fault that she found out the truth about what's going on with you, and you lying about Curtis being Trina's dad. Because if you would stop going around taking private phone calls in public, no one would have ever found this out. But you didn't. So now Jordan knows. And I don't think being like, "Stay out of my business," because that's what she keeps saying. "Jordan, stay out of my business." And Jordan is just like, I'm not trying to say anything, because she keeps accusing Jordan of, "If I don't tell, are you threatening me? You're saying you're going to tell." And Jordan just tells her, "I'm not going to tell. That's up to you to tell about Curtis, um, and everything. But I'm going to tell you once again, I want Curtis to be happy. And he wants a truthful person. So I don't think it's wise to start your marriage off. You can't marry him without telling him the truth." But Portia not trying to hear all that. All she has to tell Jordan, all she wants to tell Jordan is to stay out of my business. And then she leaves. And she said, "Oh no, this is what took me out when she told Jordan, 'Why are you so concerned about Curtis when he shows minimum effort to be concerned about you?'" And I said, "Jordan, go tell Curtis." Go tell Curtis on Portia. But anyways, Jordan's gonna stay out of it because she's like, "That's not my business." At the end of the day, Curtis gonna find out, and you can dip and dodge and duck my questions, but you're not gonna be able to duck Curtis's questions, and he's going to find out. So then we see Dante was reviewing everything, and he says he doesn't think Dex is the one who attacked Ava, or he did any of the attacks, but there's the clinking metal that everyone keeps hearing. And he says Dex has like dog tags or whatever. So I don't know if they're thinking like somebody close to Dex or somebody similar to Dex, like in the military. I don't know, but they're saying whoever did this had to be bloody, so it couldn't have been Dex. But I don't know how they're thinking that Dex might tie into it, or if they're thinking that he doesn't tie into it at all. But they say, he's been around all of the attacks, and that is very true. I don't know. They say he's been around all of the attacks and everything, and so they're just looking into it, because they said whoever is doing this, we got to be on the lookout for someone who has that clingy metal. But I was like, you can hear that noise from pretty much anywhere. So I don't know, but they're just gonna look out for that. So then we go to Marshall, Curtis, and Epiphany, and Curtis is still around GH, and Epiphany and Marshall are there, and they come up out of the elevator, and Curtis is like, "Are you here for a checkup?" And Marshall is like, "No." And Epiphany is like, I'm gonna holler at y'all later. So she leaves, and Marshall is just like, "I am actually here because Epiphany got him a job where he can play to patients, to boost the morale and everything." And I said, Curtis is always involved. Like, I don't know why Curtis has been good. Has he always been this annoying, or am I just annoyed by him recently? I don't know. He's annoying to me. He's always in somebody's business. You worry about what you got going on with Miss Wu that you haven't told anybody about. And that's what, like, everybody is like, Curtis believes in trust. Curtis says trust, but he's sitting here making deals with Miss Wu and hasn't told not one person about it and everything. But let's keep going, y'all. So anyways, he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna be here to do that." And so then he asks him, like, "What's you all in my business? What's going on with you and Portia? Have y'all set a date?" And he said, "There's been a snag." And he said, "Don't tell me you letting that good woman go." And he said, "No, but Jordan and I are still married." And Marshall said, "What? How is that possible?" And he said, "There was a mix up in the paperwork or whatever." Or so that's how we're still married. And then he gets a text message. He said, "But I have to go, but I'll be back. I'll talk to you later." And so then we see Marshall and Epiphany talk, and she's like, "Everybody's ready for you." And they're just gonna have their little, I like Marshall and Epiphany. They have a cute little romance. They don't do too much with it. He likes spending time with her, she likes spending time with him, and it's just level even. There's no real secrets between them. There's no mistrust, you know what I mean? So it's just an even relationship that they could do a little bit more with, but they don't. So let's move on. We see Ava and Trina. So Ava tells Trina she's going to shut down the gallery because it's too dangerous. She doesn't want Trina getting hurt. And Trina was like, "Ava, no, I'll do it." And she said, "No, I'm going to shut it down." But she said, "I have great news." And she gives Trina's going to intern at the museum of the school. And she was like, oh my gosh, Port Charles, in the Port Charles Museum. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Ava, I wanted this, but I thought all of the applicants, they were all closed, and I didn't get accepted because I didn't turn in my information in time." I guess because she had the trial and everything going on. But Ava was like, "No, I pulled some strings and I got you in." And she was like, "Thank you." And then she says, "I'm not the only one to thank." And she says, "Curtis was the one who really came up with this." Now, instead of Curtis just leaving it right there, you got Trina into safety. He goes and says, and even Ava was looking like, "Ugh, why are you bringing this part up?" But he says, "Yes, I spoke to Ava about her gallery. And so since she agreed to shut it down to keep you safe, this is the best place because they have security and stuff." And I said, "What? That don't make sense." I mean, it does make sense, but why wouldn't you just get extra security at the gallery? That like Ava could afford it. I don't know. I don't know. Curtis always doing too much. But anyways, Trina did not appreciate that. And she lets it be known to Curtis. She tells Ava, excuse Curtis and I need to speak to him outside." And Ava's like, "Okay." So then Ava Epiphany comes in, and Ava's like, oh, she's so ready to go home. And she says, she could do with some moonlight. She said, well, maybe not the moonlight. We could come close. And that's when Marshall comes out, and he's playing the clarinet and everything. It's a cute little scene. So then Trina tells Curtis pretty much, I don't appreciate you going behind my back and trying to run my life. And he says, I'm not going to apologize for trying to keep you safe. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I was irritated by Curtis on this, but I'm like, you can't do, like, he always does things. And then he's like, I'm not going to apologize. I was in the right. I'm in the right. And I hate that about him. I hate that about him. Like when he went behind Marshall's back and got the evidence, I mean, the unsealed his police records and everything. I'm not gonna apologize because I was protecting my family. Like you do things and like, well, I'm protecting my family. But if someone else is doing anything and they don't tell you, it's a huge problem with Curtis. And maybe that's why it irritates me with him, because that would be a huge problem with him. But if he does it, it's okay. And Trina just told him politely, you're not my dad. And I don't even have to listen to my dad like that. So don't try to run my life. I'm a sophomore. I can take care of myself. I don't need your help. And he says, well, I'm going to be your stepdad and everything. And Trina said, I don't care. That means nothing to me. You're not my dad. Thank you, but I'm not going to accept this opportunity because you lied because you went behind my back to do it instead of coming to me and talking to me and including me in the decision. I'm not a child. And so around this time, Portia comes down and she said, what am I interrupting? And Curtis was like, we're having a disagreement, we're having a difference in opinions or whatever, and everything. And I'm just trying to protect Trina. And she said, yeah, thanks for that, but I'm good. And then Trina walks off and he says, did I overstep? I know Taggart is her dad and everything, but I just want to protect her as well. And she was like, well, I don't know what I'm overstepping in. And he was like, I look at Trina as my daughter and I just want to keep her safe. And then he hugs Portia or whatever. And I said, Portia, tell the truth. Just tell the truth, ma'am. Because this is getting. Then we go to Michael and Sonny. And I said, yes, Sonny, you better tell Michael, because Michael is he was like, what does Dex mean to you? And he was like, you're getting the wrong person and you're going after the wrong person because on a hunch, and the real killer could still be out there. And Sonny just told Michael, you don't tell me how to run my business. Now, if you wanted me in my life, maybe I could. If you wanted to be in my life, maybe I can listen to you. Did you come here for that? And Michael was just like, oh. He said, that's exactly what I thought. So I'm going to protect my family. And that includes you and Willow and, Wiley and everybody else. And I don't care about your delicate sensibilities, whether you like the way I go about it or not. So he was like, that's fine. And I was like, yes, tell him, Sonny. And I said, Michael, Dex back there about to get tortured or is being tortured. If you tell the truth, that you hired Dex, Sonny would stop it. And he would be mad at you or whatever, but at least Dex would stop. Like, you leaving Dex out here to dry. Like, you leaving him out here. So at this point, Michael is not getting through to Sonny. He don't care. He's not caring what Michael has to say. He keeps asking Michael, why do you care? Why do you care how I deal with Dex? He's my employee. I can handle this how I want to handle this. And I'm not going to watch anybody else that I care about be attacked. And so around this time, Jocelyn comes in with her, and she tells Frank, because Frank says Jocelyn is here, and he was like, bring her in. She tells him, Frank, I told you he want to see me. Shut up and sit down and tell what you doing there. And so she's talking about, I came to see Dex because they think they heard clinking. Anyways, so they're thinking that it's Dex, but we find out that the person who did this would have had to been covered in blood. And that couldn't have happened because I found Ava moments after she was attacked, and Dex came like a minute later. So there's no way that this could be Dex. And she was like, I just want to talk to him. They all know what Sonny doing to Dex. But y'all don't want to be a part of Sonny's life, so don't come to him when he handling his business. That's all I'm saying. You can't have it both ways. You can't. So Sonny tells Jocelyn, I'll tell Dex you came by. And he tell her, he says, Frank, take Jocelyn wherever she needs to go, to the dorm, to Carly's place. And Michael, I'll protect my sister. I'll drive my sister and get her where she needs to be. So I'm like, okay. And he walks off. And so Michael and Joss leave. And so then we see Dex back there with Carver. And he about to get carved up. But Frank comes and said, let's take a break real quick. So they go and take a break and everything. And when they come back, Dex says, knock the knives down. And I said, there is no possible way Dex is going to get to these knives. But he's trying to wiggle himself out. And by the time he's trying to wiggle himself out, but he didn't make it because Carver came back and he was walking up on Dex and Dex pushed him back and he said, oh, okay, you're a lively one. He said, but I could get reinforcements. But he said, I'm going to enjoy this. And I said, Carver, don't do this. But I don't really care about Dex. I'm not that invested in him, so it is what it is. But Sonny knocks on the door and he tells them there's been some development, so let's pause this right now. And I'm going to hit you back. And Carver told Dex, saved by the bell. So then we see Sonny go upstairs and he's looking around. And I said, follow your instincts. There's something off about Dex. Michael riding too hard for him. Follow those instincts, Sonny, because, yeah. Okay. But y'all, that was General Hospital today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for a new episode of What Happened on the Soaps General Hospital edition. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.